My name is Arav, and for most of my childhood, I lived inside my head more than I lived in the real world. I was the kind of boy who would rehearse sentences in my mind, but never say them out loud. I preferred silent corners over crowded rooms, books over conversations, and daydreams over discussions. If someone had told the 12-year-old me that one day I would become an extrovert, comfortable with people, eager to talk, confident in any room, I would have laughed nervously and immediately looked down at my shoes. But this story is about how all of that changed. Chapter 1: The Quiet Beginning. Growing up, I had a small blue desk pushed against the wall of my room. On it were books, a tiny lamp, and a sticky note that said, "Speak up, Arav." My father had written it for me when I was 10, hoping it would inspire me, but it soon became just another thing I avoided looking at. At school, I talked only when necessary. I feared judgment. What if they laugh? What if I say something wrong? Even though I had a lot to say in my heart, my voice stayed locked somewhere deep inside. The turning point came one Monday morning when my English teacher, Mrs. Desai, announced a group project. We had to create a skit and perform it on stage. The moment she said stage, my stomach twisted. I prayed she wouldn't put me in a group with outgoing kids. But fate had a sense of humor. My group had 3 of the loudest students in class, Mira, Karan, and Ishan. They talked, laughed, and planned with energy I found overwhelming. I just stood there, nodding like a broken bobblehead. Then something happened that planted the first seed of change. Mira looked directly at me and asked, "Arav, what do you think we should do?" Everyone turned toward me. For a moment, no words came. But then, to my own surprise, I said softly, "Maybe a comedy skit?" They loved the idea. That was the first time someone listened to something I said, really listened. It made me realize something. I wasn't invisible. I was just silent. And there's a big difference. Chapter 2: The Little Steps That Made Big Changes. After that project, something inside me woke up. I didn't become extroverted overnight, but tiny steps started to matter. I tried smiling at people more. I tried saying hi first. I started answering teachers' questions, even if my voice trembled. One day, during lunch, a new student named Rishi joined our class. He didn't know anyone, and for the first time in my life, I approached someone first. "Hi, I'm Arav. Do you want to sit with us?" I asked. His face lit up. "Sure." We became friends quickly, and something strange happened. When I talked to him, I wasn't afraid, because he didn't know me as the quiet one. I got to redefine myself. Rishi told me once, "You're easy to talk to, bro." Those words stayed in my head for weeks. Slowly, my circle grew. I wasn't the loudest person, but I started enjoying conversations about football, about movies, even about homework. I realized people liked talking to me. I just had to give them a chance. The biggest shift, though, came during our school's cultural fest. Chapter 3: The Stage That Changed Everything. Every year, our school had a talent show, and every year, I quietly sat in the audience, clapping for others, while pretending I didn't want to be on stage. But this year, Mira convinced me to join her drama team. "Arav, you're actually good at acting. Trust me," she said. Trust. That was the word I didn't know I needed. I practiced for weeks. Sometimes my voice shook, sometimes I forgot lines, but the team never laughed at me. They helped me. The final day of the fest arrived. Standing backstage, I felt like my heart had turned into a drum. I almost backed out, but Mira squeezed my hand and whispered, "You've got this." When the curtain rose, something magical happened. The lights blinded me at first, but then I heard the faint laughter of the audience when I delivered my first line. It was genuine laughter. My timing was perfect. I was good. With every minute on stage, my fear melted. I even improvised a line, and the audience laughed louder. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of being seen. When the play ended, the applause felt like warm, crashing waves. I looked at the crowd and smiled confidently for the first time in my life. Afterwards, people came to me saying, "Arav, you were amazing." And instead of denying it or blushing, I said, "Thank you." That night, I realized something life-changing. Confidence doesn't come when you have all the answers. Confidence comes when you decide you're worthy of being seen. Chapter 4. College, where I rewrote myself completely. College was a fresh start. No one knew who I used to be. So on the first day, I made a promise to myself. I will speak before fear speaks. In every new class, I introduced myself confidently. I joined clubs, the drama club, the debate club, and even the hosting committee for events. Hosting events was the scariest. Standing on the stage with a mic while hundreds of students watched, it felt impossible at first, but I remembered the cultural fest, the applause, the feeling of being alive. The first event I hosted was a small orientation ceremony. My hands were cold, my shirt slightly damp from nerves, but I walked onto the stage anyway. "Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the new academic year." My voice echoed through the hall, and it didn't tremble. People clapped, they smiled, they listened. By the end of the year, I had become the official student host for most events. I was no longer Arav the quiet one. I was Arav the confident, Arav the extrovert. And yet, I was still the same person inside, just a braver version of myself. Chapter 5. The Real Transformation. Becoming an extrovert wasn't a moment, it was a journey of hundreds of small choices. Choosing to smile instead of looking down, choosing to speak instead of staying silent, choosing to try instead of running away. There were tough days, too. Some days I felt awkward and shy again. Some days I overthought everything. Some days I felt like the old me. But growth isn't a straight line. It's a messy, beautiful zigzag. One of the biggest lessons I learned was this. People aren't judging you as much as you think. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves. That realization freed me. I started enjoying meeting new people, listening to their stories, sharing my own, building connections. I realized being an extrovert isn't about being loud. It's about being open, being curious, being present. Chapter 6. Today, the extrovert I became. Today, when I walk into a room, I don't try to hide. I greet people confidently. I start conversations. I even crack jokes that actually land. People often ask me, "Were you always this outgoing?" I smile and say, "No, I built myself." Because the truth is, being an extrovert wasn't something I was born with. It was something I created, step by step, choice by choice, moment by moment. Now, when I meet new people, I enjoy the energy, the laughter, the stories, the chaos, the connections. I thrive in it. But sometimes, at night, I still sit at my old blue desk and look at that sticky note that says, "Speak up, Arav." Because the boy who once whispered is now a man who speaks loudly with confidence. And that, more than anything, is the story of how I became an extrovert.